Hey, I'm Brad from Bzzrkr. That's how the lights work. People have been asking me for ages, so I thought I'd do a bit of a gear rundown. I've had to turn the park ends off because they're freaking loud. But they're all MIDI controlled, so you can control them by hand if you want to. In this case, I've got a MIDI out from this Arturia key step going into a Focusrite 606, which is then, for reasons I'll explain later, routing it back out and into this very old MacBook here, which is running Arena, Resolume Arena, which is it's like Ableton for video and image, really. You load videos and pictures into it and into little slots, and then you can trigger them with MIDI or even with DMX, I think, or just with the computer keyboard. What's the magic after that is there's another piece of software on here called Pixel Mapper, which I got this all off a friend of mine, Kevin, an amazing guy, very, very clever, so I don't fully know which parts he built and which parts he kind of got from elsewhere, but there's this software called Pixel Mapper, which takes the output of Arena and puts it on a 100 by 100 pixel grid. Each of those pixels is mapped to the physical lights, so the color of any pixel at any given moment is translated to a DMX signal, basically, and then that's fed out an Ethernet cable over to a big brain up here, which then I don't know if you can see that, but that routes the DMX cable through all the park hands and then distributes over Ethernet more signals to each of the LED strip lights there, and we get crazy blinding light shows. For my live shows for Bzzrkr, everything is pre-programmed. All the lights are pre-programmed in Reaper, so I don't know what you can see here, but I've just got MIDI files, MIDI notation, and again each note is mapped to a particular square, to a particular sample, and when it's played you see it on the light rig. So for example, if I just run this one, and I've turned the park ends off so you won't see them, but there go all the strip lights doing their thing in time to the music. You can't hear it because I've muted it. So that's what a big part of the Bzzrkr shows is hanging around programming lights via MIDI data to make all that happen. What next? So in terms of the actual music, this is my main kind of setup. I'm using a MX1 by Roland, which is a mixer audio interface with effects built in, and it's all MIDI controlled as well, and clock synced to the computer. Roland also on the same IRA line, the System 1M, which is the modular version of the System 1, semi-modular version, the rack version we should say, and the KeyStep Pro from Arturia, which is this awesome piece of sequencing equipment. I really love it. I'm not using it to its fullest extent with Bzzrkr, but you can load, program all sorts of sequences and everything with it, and then send them out to basically 4 different outputs at once. So you can have a drum machine and a synthesizer and a sampler and another synth, and then play on top of it as well. Really, really amazing stuff, and lots of cool functionality in there for sort of live jamming and looping and re-looping and glitching and amazing stuff. I'm basically using it as a controller keyboard for this. Using that one as well. It's just an M Audio controller keyboard that rattles when I move it. It's old and it's seen better days, but it still works, and it's a lot of fun to just be able to have up and throw around. The Arena laptop, and then I'm running Bzzrkr on stage. I've got various audio stems in there, kicks, snares, hats and bass. They're all being routed out through this Focusrite interface so that I can send them to the desk with individual on an individual channel, so that an engineer can have control over them. And then all the other synth stuff, so all my pads and arpeggios and leads and my VSTs that I'm using and the System 1 are all coming through the MX1 and just going out as a stereo pair, so I'm having to submix them while I'm playing. Obviously do as much as I can ahead of time to get them kind of sounding right. And then there's live effects that are being switched on and off the whole time. Some of them I'm kind of playing with myself, and others are being triggered from Reaper with MIDI CC data to turn them on and off over time. That's really the ins and outs of it. If I do video, sometimes I have a video channel, video track on Reaper, but I'm sort of not doing it at the moment. I'm a little dubious about, I'm relying a little too much on VSTs at the moment for my taste, but you know, some of those old you know, classic sort of 70s and 80s analog sounds are really expensive to buy in the way of hardware, so yeah, VSTs are good, but I'm just being cautious about the ability to do video playback and VST playback and all the audio that's already in there. Plus, with all the lights going, you can hardly see much of the video screen anyway without a really good projector. I have the various VSTs I'm using, mostly a bunch of stuff by Arturia from the, it's all stuff out of the Analog Lab lines, but that's, you know, the Yamaha CS80, some DX7 stuff, a few other bits and pieces here and there. Those are all mute enveloped, so technically what's happening when I play a key, I'm sending something to each VST. Well, I'm potentially sending something to each VST, but Reaper is muting the send to each individual one at any given time, so I'm only hearing the one I want to hear at a particular time. So if I, you know, here I am with that. That's a CS80. If I jump over here. Also a CS80, completely different patch. I've got the sort of the basses and my leads kind of split out between two different channels, so that I can get a bit more control over them and not have to be constantly adjusting them all the time. And the System 1's coming in through a different channel again. So this essentially gives me kind of three different synth outputs on the mixer to be able to have some better control over them. It's not all audio playback, so some parts of the set are MIDI sequences that get sent out. So if I solo, this should come out the System 1. So that's MIDI data that's going straight to the System 1, and I can etc. There's really cool things on top of that too. Another track. This can come in through the System 1 into the MX1 and then get effects placed on top. They've got some really cool sort of glitchy scatter and roll effects, they call them. So so that's really cool. You know, MIDI data being sent, notes coming in, then an audio effect over the sound sent out through my master. Can do like sort of, you know, side chaining and all that sort of thing out here as well, which I make pretty good use of on the bass patches. And that was that. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're keen for any more, please do come along to Valhalla on the 31st of July. We've got a big epic night of synthwave happening. Myself, Bzzrkr, JJ Mist, Polaris Radio, and Straylight. It's going to be huge. We've got prizes going out, inflatable flamingos, the works. It's going to be absolutely wicked. So do come along.